Hey everyone, Justin Brawl here. I'm giving you my review of Shokugeki Food Wars, the third dish, episode 11, and the title of this episode is in German, or at least I believe this is German or Russian. I believe it is mostly German. But I mispronounce this how I'm sorry for those who are German out there. I can't speak German. I frankly don't even know some German words. So here we go. Der, WeiBe, Ritter, der, Tafel. Basically, it's like the translation of it is like the White Knight, and this is mostly an episode building on the character known as Shokugeki, who is the first seed of the Elite Ten. Before I get into any of that, we gotta go to the beginning of the episode, where we get to see the conversation between Alice and her uncle Asami. And before we were told, right in the middle, when we see Asami doing the slow motion clapping congratulations to Rio for winning, at least to Alice for actually keeping her research society. We get to a bit of a flash to 8 years ago in Scandinavia, while at the time when she was in Scandinavia where she met Rio, Rio became her aide, became Alice's aide. We get to look at a flashback of Alice writing letters to Erina because that's what Erina promised. However, we get to see some shots of her writing the letters, sending them the letters, but she has not yet received anything back from Erina. And it turns out Asami was the one who ripped up the letters. Asami, her uncle, was the one who ripped up the letters because he believed that any distractions from Alice would ruin her concentration, and what made her into the chef or kind of person that she is today, or at least someone with what Asami was doing to her while he was training her. Again, I didn't mind physical abuse; it was more in my mental brainwashing. That's what he did to her over the course of the years until he was exiled from the Nakiri family by her granddad, Ome Nakiri, Zaizamon Nakiri. I may pronounce his first name wrong, but he has like a weird Japanese name. Even I can't even pronounce it if I could. They were taken to the introduction. They were taken to present time where Alice was like talking down on Uncle Nazumi, but how his review of Central and Suki is completely different to how the normal life was like. And she refuses to work with Azumi whatsoever, to work alongside him, to be every part of Central, even though despite being family. I'm pretty sure Ryo's going to come in the same way because he is her aide, so he's going to stick by her. And he made a promise to Alice to be a good chef, to benefit, to help her out. Well, Hiroto, Hisako, does for Erina. And I will take it to... Okay, back to what I was saying. During the talk down between Alice and Azumi, we see that she refuses to work with Azumi despite being family. She refuses to work, at least until be any part of Central. And I just think I want to take a moment to realize that in between the whole entire shutdown, during the whole entire talk that she was given to him, I think that I may have forgot the line here, but I think she did say, "I hate you, Azumi, Uncle Azumi." And the look on his face, it was just like after he heard that, I was like, "I hate you." After hearing that, I couldn't help but laugh at it because that was completely out of nowhere. That even Soma, Takumi, Rio, and Megumi were there hearing that, and all of us was like, "Did you seriously just say that?" And I couldn't help but laugh because how the split second of silence was enough to make me laugh on that scene. I just could not believe that she said that, and everyone just went silent, and Erina was coming down there to see that. And right after Marlonespi left, we get a sweet moment between both Alice and Erina, where Alice is telling Erina to buck up and stand up straight, or by standing straight, but like stand up for yourself and be straight, and be like, don't let Uncle Azumi, hurt you again like the way he did before. Knowing the fact that how this is so shows the fact this is the moment here that shows the fact that despite these two hate each other in a way that actually more like the two butt heads so oftenly, Alice and Aaron still care for each other because they're cousins, and they have cousins tend to love each other. Family's family, so you can't do this right thing. But right when this is that, I'm going to take because I want you to be completely fully. I want you to be completely full, be a perfect foil for me, so I can beat you for once. And Aaron did not take that so lightly. And the two are butting heads again like they usually do. And we have Soma in the background saying, these two are pretty close. Then Rio comes in on the phone and is like, don't say that to them. It's like, it'll cost you trouble. Because it's kind of like, yeah, don't say that or else it gets pretty ugly. The only time he's just like, yeah, you should not say that in front of them. Or even they hear that, they're even going to cause some more trouble. And then fast forwarding, we get to see and during between, you get to see the destruction of some of the research studies that failed. As for when we get small scenes of the Dawn Research Society, the one that Nikimi is part of, hinting the fact that most likely her research society, the Dawn RS, is going to be hit with the next batch for the survivors for the purge, in order to being forced to shut down if she's the one Shokugeki, which by the openings in the tell she definitely has a match in Shokugeki in order to save her research society. And we get taken to a scene in the classroom where Soma and Megami are. They actually turns out that their instructor, the original instructor, ended up being dismissed because of his refusal to work under Central's guidance. Central's order, the way Asmi sees it, which led into a temporary teacher for the day, at least for now, at least for today, or at least maybe for once I find a new one under Central, who Central approves of. The first seat of the Elite 10 appears, Tsukasa Eishi Tsukasa, is the teacher for the list, and everyone was shocked. Even both Soma and Megami were surprised that of all the people to teach them, it was the first seat. And not every day, you don't teach by the first seat of the Elite 10 on a regular basis. It rarely happens, or like mostly is rarely to never happening, since the first seat is basically doing Elite 10 business and trying to hold his seat. And AC comes into the classroom, being himself again, asking for he asks for students to help him aid him as a bit of a assistant. Nobody was too scared because there's no way that even their current level, there's nobody who can keep up with them, namely Megami. But then Soma out of nowhere decides to appear right up next to one on his left and just sort of like standing like this, and he's like, "Yeah, I'll be your assistant. I'll teach him." And he's like, even Asia was like, "Hey," and everyone was like shocked to see him. Like, "Oh, what?" Everyone was shocked to see that. And we get to see a cool scene between both Soma and AC, where it's like AC tells Soma what to do, basically, and sounds information to his head. Yet somehow Soma manages to read it and managed to get everything done. Because he didn't mention before AC's appearance, he had this style how Central was doing things, how the recipe must be done to a T. He has learned that way from the way how he spent time with Master Shinomiya Senpai, or the Shinomiya Senpai, I would say not Master Shinomiya, that's what Soma calls him, during the Sancneer arc, where Soma went to Shinomiya Tokyo's restaurant for that training. And right after he said Master Senpai, we get to do a scene in Shunyo's Tokyo. I almost say Doc for some reason, but Tokyo. Turns out for some reason, like one of the chefs there was like, "What's wrong, chef?" And it's like, I don't know why, but I got to this point I was really irritated for some reason. Because Shinomiya hates Soma calling him Master Shinomiya. Like, even though it's completely out of the left blue, it seems kind of fits. But he really hates being called a Master Shinomiya by Soma, of all people. And I don't see how he's going to continue until like potential season 4 we get to the point where, like, I know in the manga, Megami also gets trained by Sonia towards the manga. Spoiler for those who didn't read the manga at this point. Didn't read the manga point, but I would love to see his reaction to being called what Megami calls him. So we had the scene where Soma manages to get everything done right for Eishi, and all the dishes are served because he has experience being this kind of dish first cuisine from Shinomiya Senpai. Class is done. We also get to see where Erina goes to class for once, who at the time was still too scared to go outside the dormitory because most likely Asmi, her father, would fight her and force her to go back to the family home, but he hasn't been too forcefully with it, at least yet, though. I say yet. And Hisako was proud of her to actually stand to walk out for once and not be too scared. Then we're taken into a scene between Soma and Eishi where Eishi drops at the biggest. I'm going to skip a few bunch of babbling there between the two, but again, we keep seeing signs of both Eishi being confident, going to his warrior work state again, being too scared, don't worry all the time, to the biggest dropping bomb that Eishi dropped on Soma. "I want you to join Central and be my right-hand man." At first, Soma took it as Eishi respecting his ability, seeing him as an equal, Unfortunately, but that's not the case for Soma because AC sees Soma as a way to better his cooking and move into the future. But since Soma on the other hand doesn't like that idea of being considered number two doesn't mean to like number two to AC if he were to sign with Central, because if he were to sign with Central, he wouldn't be benefiting his own cooking, he must benefit for Central and for AC, not himself. And then AC decided to challenge Soma to this, and I have to say, during the challenge, when he challenged Soma, I'm just like, two scenes here, just like one particular scene, but the scene towards the end of the episode really looked, it was like, oh my god, we are seriously, this thing just got, shit just hit the fan here. We're going, this went from 0 to 100, this thing cranked to 111. The scene where it's like AC said, you know what, I'll challenge you to a Shokugeki, not so much of a Shokugeki, but like a food challenge. And if I win, you join Central, and you work with me. And I'll even throw in my first seed. He throws in the first seed, his first seed of the Elite 10 to Soma if he wins. But if someone loses, he has to join Central no matter what. Knowing the fact that the stakes stinkingly high here, Soma accepts the challenge, and right before he says it, AC with his cooking knife looks at him. The background has a bloom effect, and it looked like it was like white bluish flames, like God flames, mind you, God level tier flames surrounding the two. And AC says, "Will you accept this challenge, Sukiya Soma?" And with the eyes shaking, like he's trembling, like this is really happening. I'm really facing Elite 10. Remember the first seed of the Elite 10. This is something that most students rarely get a chance to do or never get, and Soma gets this shot. He is shaking. I can tell him in his eye. He is trembling because of the fact that this guy, of all people, just challenged him, and he's banging his first seat. So I accept the challenge, and they basically go through first cuisine. It is first cuisine they're doing. And right as when Sukasa starts entering he's the first one to repair. Someone's just seeing by looking at him, we get to see the scene where he's solidified, known as the White Knight. They mistranslation on my part, but that's basically, I think that's what the translation was called. Where there's a scene of him in the, like a blank space, completely blank. It was all blank. You didn't see a picture of it. There's a scene with him, a shot with a deer, where Aishi says, "Come here, come to me," embraces the deer, and B says, "Come reside in my dish." And that just basically means that this guy is just like has an elegant touch to his cooking, and that makes he got Elite 10 seed in the first scene of the Elite 10 for a reason, and that reason right there is like solidifying him that this guy has like a gentle touch. There's anything more forward in the manga from what I saw, it definitely shows. This is like the one part that shows that this guy definitely had the first seat for a reason. And then after someone asked the challenge, what's Central's main goal here? And then even Aishi wasn't quite too sure what the main goal was for Central, but he said, Asmi said, it was like, to eradicate all restaurants that don't serve gourmet food, that only serve meat or like not or be called food. So basically, keeping short, simple, unnecessary places, gourmet foods that only appear to the masses, not to gourmet and standard food. Like, before to the masses means like everyone gets a shot, everyone eats their food, but for gourmet food, only for high elite people can eat this food. And it turns out that every country in Japan will be eradicated for that because most of the restaurants in Japan are not, at least any restaurant who is not up to the gourmet standard of Central, will be destroyed. Such as that one state during the Stagnant arc where both Soma and Hisako were attending at one point, even to his family business, Yukiya Diner, and he said, yes, both of them will be destroyed. And his pride, I have to admit, when you deal with someone so close to him, we get to see, after hearing that, we took a shot. We haven't seen a flashback scenes as the camera, like the shot of them were zooming into the screen of all the memories that he had in that diner. With his friends, the people in the neighborhood, to him cooking with his dad. He was like, I will not let you destroy that. I will take this challenge on. He literally just slammed the food on this place that I won't join Central. I will win this match. And blue flames, purplish blue flames come up from behind them, showing this guy showing Soma that he despite being going against the first elites, and he is not scared. And at this point, I was like thinking, when I saw that in the manga, I was like thinking, okay, yeah, maybe you took down AC Senpai, you beat Kuga and Sales and defeated Izan Senpai. in 2 separate occasions, you manages to get one airing a week. So I think at some point you could think you might have a chance, but this is the first series we're talking about here, so it's not going to be that easy. And that's where the episode cuts off. I forgot to mention we got both Hisako, Erina, and Megumi later on, hearing and watching all over this. And I just cannot wait because we're episode 11. I don't know how many episodes this was ordered for the 3rd season, but next episode is going to be the battle between Soma and Aishi, and I just cannot wait to see the anime delivers the scene, delivers the fight, the cooking match between the two. So until next week, leave a like, subscribe, comment, and I'll see you again for the next video. Laters!